Chosen one. Deep beneath Florence, inside a locked Renaissance repository sealed by iron bolts and dust older than empires, an art historian unrolled a parchment believed to be forever lost. The material crackled like ancient skin. The ink faded yet deliberate, and at the bottom rested the unmistakable curved signature, Leonardo da Vinci. But the archivist's hands began to tremble when he lifted the parchment toward the golden lamp, because the face revealed on that page wasn't a duke, a king, a saint, nor any figure documented in Renaissance society. It wasn't a commissioned noble portrait, nor a study of human anatomy, nor the preliminary sketch of some forgotten sitter. No, it was you, not a resemblance, not a mere echo, not a symbolic archetype or artistic coincidence. A perfect, unmistakable match. The specific bone angles, the proportion of brow to eye, the subtle asymmetry in the lower lash line, the exact curvature of the jaw. A face drawn half a millennium before its owner stepped into this timeline. A portrait that should not exist, could not exist, yet existed anyway, as if time itself bent around the ink, as if the future reached backward, as if Da Vinci wasn't drawing the era he lived in, but the era you would one day awaken. When the discovery reached the restoration wing, 3 experts surrounded the parchment under sterile white light. None of them spoke for the first few minutes. They were too busy tracing the brushstrokes with shaking fingertips. The first expert, a specialist in Renaissance facial geometry, muttered, "These measurements are impossible. This is centuries ahead of its time." The second leaned closer, squinting at the shading around the eyes. "Look at this," she whispered. Da Vinci only used this technique when he believed the subject carried a spiritual anomaly, as if the face didn't belong fully to this world. They compared your proportions to the Vitruvian ratios, expecting disparity. Instead, they found alignment. Perfect symmetry in the places that matter, intentional asymmetry in the places Da Vinci used a hint at destiny. Beneath infrared light, even more unsettling details emerged. Microscopically thin directional strokes, like Da Vinci was copying a vision rather than observing a person physically present. He wasn't drawing a model. The third expert finally said, voice hollow. He was documenting something he wasn't supposed to see. The archivist turned to Da Vinci's surviving notebooks, searching for any clue explaining how a man from the 1500s could possibly sketch a face from a future century. Hidden between anatomical diagrams and mechanical designs, they found it. A single fragmented entry, written in his mirrored script. Last night, a visitor from another era appeared in my waking vision. I do not know his name, but the world bends around him. His eyes hold a story not yet written. Beneath the line, Da Vinci had drawn a rough geometric grid, a temporal diagram, the kind used by mystics, philosophers, and forbidden societies attempting to map the flow of time. Only Da Vinci's diagram didn't bend downward like traditional Renaissance time charts. It spiraled forward, suggesting he believed the future could bleed into the present. Another page carried an even stranger note. I have seen the face of the one who returns. He does not belong to my century, yet he exists within it. The historians stared at each other in chilling silence. Because Da Vinci didn't just draw your face. He anticipated your arrival, as if time itself had opened a window for him, as if the universe allowed him a brief glimpse of a destiny unfolding far beyond his era, as if you were not bound by the linear laws of history, but existed as a fixed point across multiple timelines. When the archivists examined the margins of the sketch, they noticed faint shapes Da Vinci often used to encode spiritual or mathematical revelations. At first, the symbols appeared decorative, simple circles, angled lines, and spirals. But under enhanced imaging, each shape revealed hidden ratios tied not to Renaissance geometry, but to you. A small spiral matched the precise energy field pattern measured around your aura today. A cluster of triangles aligned with a modern-day mapping of your emotional frequency peaks. Even the space in between the background lines matched the current biometric rhythm of your heartbeat under stress. This wasn't artistic chance. It was deliberate encoding. Da Vinci had embedded your frequency into the art, as if trying to warn future generations that the sketch was not a portrait, but a prophecy. But the most startling feature wasn't in the margins. It was hidden beneath the layers of shading near your jawline. When scanned carefully, a sigil emerged, a symbol found in only 3 Renaissance manuscripts, all belonging to secret societies obsessed with returning figures and timeless identities. The sigil translated to one phrase: the face beyond epochs. Not a man of the past, not a man of the present, a presence threaded through multiple ages, appearing wherever destiny demanded. As the scholars compared the sketch to known portraits, something became undeniably clear. Da Vinci only used a specific shading style for subjects he believed carried extraordinary significance, people he thought were connected to divine mathematics, cosmic proportion, or metaphysical purpose. But the face on the parchment didn't belong to any historical figure. There were no records, no references, no diaries, no correspondences. It didn't match any known patron, noble, or apprentice. Every documented portrait in Da Vinci's archive carried a name, a context, a story, except this one. When the archivists turned the back of the parchment, they discovered something written so faintly it was nearly invisible, a mirrored phrase scrawled in Da Vinci's private encryption: "A volto che ritorna." The face that returns. Returns from where? From which timeline? From what origin? That's when the room grew silent, because the truth hit them all at once. Da Vinci hadn't drawn someone who lived in his century. He had drawn someone who would arrive in another, someone whose presence echoes across temporal boundaries, someone whose arrival is not random, but cyclical, someone the universe sends back again and again. Whenever a new era is about to shift, he drew you because he saw you, not physically, not literally, but through whatever doorway opened between genius and prophecy, between imagination and divine download. He didn't paint a moment. He painted a destiny. The deeper the researchers examined the sketch, the more something disturbing became undeniable. Your face did not appear just once in Da Vinci's archives. In the corner of another manuscript, partly erased and partly smudged by time, the outline of your jaw appeared again. In a separate notebook, among mechanical designs and experimental inventions, the same gaze reemerged, faint, incomplete, as if Da Vinci was trying to redraw a vision he couldn't fully hold on to. Then came the discovery that froze every historian in the room. A charcoal study, buried under layers of restoration dust, displayed a profile nearly identical to yours, positioned next to a sketch of an early flying machine. A handwritten note beside it read, "He belongs to an age that will understand the sky." What terrified them wasn't that Da Vinci drew your face repeatedly. It was that the drawings were spread across years, meaning the vision of you didn't visit him once. It revisited, over and over, appearing whenever Da Vinci reached a new height of inspiration, as if your energy acted like a catalyst for his greatest insights. Without knowing your name, without knowing your time, without knowing your story, he felt your frequency ignite something inside him, something that pushed the Renaissance forward. You were not a figure from his world. You were a spark from another timeline, igniting genius across centuries. Chosen one. If your spirit feels that Da Vinci's vision wasn't an accident but recognition, then let this moment become your activation. Energy responds to agreement, and timelines shift when destiny is acknowledged. If something in you whispers, "I know this is me. I've always felt older than my years, deeper than this era, familiar to places I've never been," then this is your sign. Tap Super Thanks and release your $20 seed as a symbolic gesture that you accept the truth. You are not entering this story. You are always part of it. Comment your angel number, 111, 222, 333, for 144, 777, or 144, not as decoration, but as an encryption, a declaration to the universe that you recognize your own reappearance through hidden timelines. Luke 6 verse 38 isn't about money. It's about alignment. Give. It will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you give in moments of destiny, you receive in the currency of purpose. Let this be the moment you activate the line between your past life, your foretold face, and your present awakening. Tap in. Seal it. Step into the timeline Da Vinci saw. Among the countless parchment stacks in the deeper vault, there was one notebook scholars had avoided for decades, not because it was dangerous, but because it made no sense. Its pages contained unfinished sketches, fragmented diagrams, and cryptic writings that seemed disconnected from Da Vinci's known work. But now, with your face already discovered, the researchers returned to this forgotten book with new eyes. Carefully, they turned each page until one sheet resisted, as if stuck by time itself. When they finally loosened it, a second layer of parchment peeled away, revealing a hidden page Da Vinci had intentionally pressed beneath the original. On this page, the lines were darker, bolder, almost urgent, and in the center, Da Vinci had drawn the same face, your face, but this time an inscription curved around the portrait. Under ultraviolet light, the words emerged in glowing Italian script. Colluice ritorna altera il ciclo. He who returns beyond the cycle. This was no artistic study. It was a warning, a declaration that your identity wasn't tied to linear time, that your presence wasn't bound to birth or death, rise or fall, beginning or end. Da Vinci believed you were part of a repeating pattern, a cosmic design resurfacing in eras of transformation. When the world shifted and the collective consciousness awakened, you weren't just a face he saw. You were a cycle he recognized. Da Vinci was not a man easily shaken. He dissected bodies, challenged the church, invented machine centuries early, and wrote confessions in mirror code without fear. But the entries connected to your face carried a tone he used nowhere else, a tone of hesitation, reverence, and fear. In one journal, tucked between architectural notes, he wrote, "There are moments when the air grows still, and I feel watched not by men but by possibility itself." On another page, beside a half-finished sketch of your profile, he scribbled hastily, "His presence bends the hours. The room shifts when his image forms." This wasn't metaphor. Da Vinci believed that whatever he saw, whatever version of you appeared in his visions, altered the space around him. Assistants at his workshop documented bizarre occurrences during the days he worked on the unnamed face. Candles flickering with no wind, metal tools vibrating on wooden tables. Shadows stretching in unnatural directions, Da Vinci freezing mid-stroke like he was listening to a voice only he could hear. One frightened apprentice wrote in a secret letter, "The maestro sees someone that isn't in the room, someone who comes from another when." The idea terrified Da Vinci not because he feared you, but because he feared what it meant for human understanding. He wasn't just drawing a man. He was drawing a disruption in the laws of reality. When Da Vinci's archives were digitally scanned centuries later, a team analyzing the sketch metadata noticed something impossible, a faint overlay pattern within the ink particles that didn't match 15th century materials. At first, they assumed it was contamination from modern lighting or equipment, but when they ran spectral analysis on the pigments, the system flagged a frequency spike so unusual that the scanner logged it as an anomalous signature. That signature matched one thing, a known angelic frequency pattern recorded in mystic manuscripts. The archivists, thinking it was an equipment error, cross-checked it using older analog methods. And the result was the same. The shading around your eyes pulsed with the same frequency found in sacred relics. Someone or something had infused Da Vinci's drawing with a resonance beyond material ink. A hidden message appeared in the digital reconstruction. Identity recognized in pre-birth artwork. Temporal prophecy confirmed. That classification echoed descriptions found in apocryphal angelic records. Files referring to those whose faces appear before their arrival. Beings whose presence intersects multiple lifelines. To historians, it was a glitch. To the mystics studying sacred geometry, it was confirmation. To the universe, it was a declaration. You weren't just drawn early. You were acknowledged early by realms that knew you long before you stepped into this age. Chosen one, if you've reached this part and something in your spirit feels strangely familiar, it isn't imagination. Souls like yours don't just appear in history. They echo through it. You don't simply live a timeline, you bend timelines. And Da Vinci, in one of the most brilliant eras humanity has ever seen, somehow aligned with your frequency long before your arrival. If you feel that pull, that sensation of, "I've been here before, my face is older than my body, I'm recognized by eras I never lived in," then this moment is meant for you. Tap join to step into the circle of those whose identity transcends centuries. This isn't membership. It's alignment. It's the energetic acceptance of the truth. You weren't just seen early. You were foreseen. Isaiah 60 verse 22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." Some souls don't wait for their era to arrive. Their era waits for them. If you feel the resonance, step forward. Accept the frequency Da Vinci sensed. Tap join, not for status, but for activation. People around you feel something they cannot explain. They felt it for years, long before you ever suspected anything unusual about your identity. It's not charisma, not beauty, not charm. It's something older, deeper, more disorienting. When you enter a room, conversations subtly pause. People turn without knowing why. Strangers stare as if they've met you before, even when they haven't. Some step aside instinctively, not out of fear, but out of recognition, like they're making space for someone they subconsciously respect. This isn't psychology. It's imprint. Da Vinci didn't just draw your face. He imprinted your frequency, and that frequency appears in the micro-signals people react to without conscious awareness. That's why certain individuals become protective around you for no reason. That's why some feel nervous. That's why others feel calm, just standing near you. You don't project presence. You carry presence, the kind that resonates through time. People aren't responding to your personality. They're responding to something their spirit remembers, even if their mind doesn't. A familiarity born not from this life, but from the echo of a face sketched centuries ago, waiting for its owner to return. There's a rule woven into the fabric of the universe. The universe gives rank according to essence, not titles. And your essence is older than the language used to describe it. When Da Vinci saw your face in those visions, he wasn't merely inspired. He was humbled. He believed he was witnessing something sacred, something aligned with divine mathematics, something that existed beyond the reach of kings, churches, or empires. That's why the sketch carries an energy unlike his other works. It wasn't meant for the people of his time. It wasn't meant for his patrons. It was meant for you, a message waiting patiently across centuries, sealed in dried ink until the moment your timeline intersected with this revelation. Romans 8 verse 37 says, "In all these things we're more than conquerors." Da Vinci sensed this about you long before you incarnated, that your identity wasn't built on struggle, but on origin. You aren't someone who rises from nothing. You're someone who returns to what is already yours. This is why the universe bends subtly in your favor. This is why doors open unexpectedly. This is why certain challenges dissolve the moment you step into them. Existence itself recognizes you, not as a visitor, but as someone whose presence was written into the architecture of destiny. As the sketch circulated through private research circles, a few historians began whispering something they refused to publish publicly, a theory that would destroy their careers if spoken aloud. They noticed how impossibly modern the face looked, the bone symmetry, the eyelid fold, the micro-expressions, features that didn't fit the standards of Renaissance physiognomy, but aligned perfectly with contemporary structures. One researcher said, trembling, "This face does not belong to the 15th century." Another replied, "It doesn't belong to the 16th either." The sketch didn't match any portrait from Da Vinci's time. It matched you, here now in this era. As more analysts compared the proportions using modern facial mapping software, the match percentage rose to levels statistically impossible for coincidence. 99.78% accuracy. That figure alone sent a ripple of panic through the room. Because this wasn't just a face resurfacing. This was a return, a reappearance precise enough to feel intentional. And it became clear that history wasn't revealing your identity. It was finally catching up to it. Certain people glow in photographs. Others glow in silence. But you glow in history itself. Scholars examining the sketch noticed something surreal. The shading around your cheeks wasn't static. Under varying light sources, it changed subtly, almost like a living skin tone reacting to emotion. When the archivists compared this with modern photos of you, they found identical micro-patterns, the same highlight curve, the same shadow depth, the same reflective map, unique to your bone structure. Even the subtle asymmetry in your left eye, the trait doctors say rarely occurs naturally, appeared perfectly in Da Vinci's drawing. Your body, your posture, Your presence today match strokes drawn 500 years ago, not inspired by you, not imagined like you, identical to you. As if Da Vinci didn't sketch a moment in time, he sketched the template you would one day grow into. Across mystical circles, certain events are recognized as timeline breaches, moments where the past acknowledges the future. When your face was revealed, a handful of esoteric scholars reacted instantly. Their journals now contain the same phrase written independently. The foreseen one has arrived. These weren't religious fanatics or conspiracy theorists. They were mathematicians, linguists, and consciousness researchers who believed time is not a straight line, but a layered field. To them, Da Vinci's sketch wasn't proof of reincarnation. It was proof of recurrence, a spirit returning through multiple eras, carrying the same signature each time. They concluded that you're not recognized because of your actions, you're recognized because reality itself remembers you. Chosen one, Da Vinci didn't draw a stranger. He didn't draw a myth. He didn't draw an ideal or a symbol or an archetype. He drew you, the version of you that already existed in the architecture of destiny. A face carried through eras, a memory older than clocks, a presence older than calendars. You weren't predicted. You weren't guessed. You were remembered. And now that the sketch has resurfaced, the message is clear. You did not step into history. History stepped into you. Time didn't wait for your arrival. Time bowed. If this revelation hits you in a place deeper than logic, a place that feels like memory instead of discovery, then you already know what this moment is. Tap Super Thanks and release your $50 seed, not as payment, not as symbolism, but as agreement. Agreement that your identity existed long before your birth. Agreement that you were sketched because you were seen. Agreement that your arrival in this era was intentional. DUD 29:29 speaks of hidden things revealed at the appointed time. This is your appointed time. This is your emergence. If your spirit is vibrating right now, if your chest feels warm, your mind feels ancient, or something in you whispers finally, then this final step is for you. Tap Super Thanks and send your $100 seed to seal yourself as a foreseen one, the identity no prophecy could contain, yet every prophecy pointed toward. 2 COR 9:8 promises abundance in all things for those aligned with divine purpose. You are aligned now. Step forward. Seal it. Walk as the one Da Vinci recognized centuries early.